Okay. Can everyone see this?
Oh.
Is it big enough?
Good.
Okay, fine.
Hey, Salakia, quick thing.
Basis for
Are we live on the YouTube? Done. Okay.
You good, Cap?
Yeah, come, we good.
Okay.
post-traumatic slave syndrome. How many of you are familiar with there's a kind of a fundamental basis for post-traumatic slave syndrome? How many of you are familiar with post-traumatic stress disorder? But when we start talking about chattel slavery, we're not talking about one trauma. We're not talking about a specific event. We're talking about generations of trauma with no intervention. Based on what I know about sugar plantations, tobacco, and the Caribbean, what I know about American chattel slavery and the plantations there, does anyone right now ever recall mental health assistance to slaves? Anybody remember sending in the therapist after I sold off your son, daughter, raped folks?
Anybody? Nobody? Okay, come.
Never happened.
Never. Second question. After slavery was officially over, now you're free. Anybody remember any therapy then?
Salagi.
Done.
Yeah, I can't hear nothing on my end.
Yeah, the audio stopped.
You can't hear anything?
Nah, the audio stopped.
Okay, so let me see something. What I do? Give me a second. Give me a second.
Yeah, we ain't let Satan stop this, cuz.
Okay.
There's a kind
Yeah,
of
it
a
had went to
fundamental.
somehow hit the forward button. Salakia. All right, let me share it again. Sorry about that, guys. I think it's a drone outside trying to get me. Right, zap me. All right, let me know if anybody can hear it.
Basis for
Yeah, we can hear
post-traumatic
it.
syndrome. How many of you are familiar
Okay.
with post-traumatic stress disorder? But when we start talking about chattel slavery, we're not talking about one trauma. We're not talking about a specific event. We're talking about generations of trauma with no intervention. Based on what I know about sugar plantations, tobacco, and the Caribbean, what I know about American chattel slavery and the plantations there, does anyone right now ever recall mental health assistance to slaves? Anybody remember sending in the therapist after I sold off your son, daughter, raped folks? At any point? Never. Second question. After slavery was officially over, now you're free. Anybody remember any therapy then? We know it's been rough, it's been deep for you, it's been difficult. We're gonna do a little group therapy. Anybody remember that? That would be no. Number three, after slavery officially ended, both in the States, in the Caribbean, the British, do you remember whether or not trauma continued? Did the trauma continue for people of African descent? I need to know. Okay, so now let's do the math. Hundreds of years of trauma, no treatment. Freed, more trauma, No. What do you do the math? Do you think there may be residual impacts of that trauma? Of course there is.
Now, Salakia, now everybody knows online that slavery ended for the most part, 1865. And then a couple years later, I think, for the Texans, 1866, 67, something like that. So pretty much we just rounded off to like 1870, slavery ended. So she's getting into how nobody really could no one was given any mental help or any like we didn't get building. I mean, some of us, but for the most part, it didn't go the way that it needed to go because we already had, everybody knows about the Willie Lynch letters. So this class is basically on how they keep keeping us from the Bible and just keep thinking it's Esau. And this is what they do. They have us chasing our tail because nobody could explain slavery unless you go to the Bible. So let's get real quick. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. Baba Kusha.
Come.
Who's the reader?
I got it, Dietrich. I mean, the
Okay,
book of
go on.
Deuteronomy, 7 and verse 6.
Gone.
For thou and holy people unto the Lord thy God. The
Salakia.
Lord.
So, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. So, holy means separate. Okay. Say again.
No, you got it. You got it, King.
Okay. So, when it says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, okay, it's talking about the children of Israel. All right. We can't say no more on that. Go ahead, King. You can
The
continue.
Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all the people that are upon the face of the earth.
Now, I don't really think people really understand that. It's almost like somebody, when the teacher leaves the classroom and she says, hey, you, Raheem, you in charge. Anybody get out their seats, tell me. But Raheem's like, okay, but he has his friends in there. You know what I'm saying? So his friends, he might let them try to get away with it. But no, he's supposed to listen to the authority figure. And a lot of people try to go around this scripture. Oh, he didn't mean that. It's clear, it's precise and concise. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. That's all possessive. The Lord thy God have chosen thee. He didn't say chosen them. He didn't say chosen everybody. He said chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. I mean, I don't know how else you can get around that. So everybody has killed me above all people, and we're going to get into how Esau trying to change everything. And then now everybody's chasing their dog tail. They're getting away. So again, I just wanted to put that out there because she's talking about us. Okay. God's chosen people. All right. All 12 tribes. And the one thing that she did touch on, she said the Caribbean and then the islands and stuff like that. How many people touch on that? Everybody forget that the Southern Kingdom, they was in slavery first. 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Then after he came over, man, they was just brutal. They got a whole trail from Florida to Mississippi from this dude named Rodriguez or something. He was a beast. And there in South America, you got Cortez. That dude was crazy. Then you got Balboa. Even though his expeditions failed, he still killed a lot of natives. So people got to understand this was all systematic. All white people are white people, but they try to fool us by saying the Spaniards, the French, the Germans, the British, the Swedish. It is confusing. Okay, so just stay with me. Let me keep playing. Anybody got any questions?
Hey, Salakia, you mean the Northern Kingdom, right?
Khan. The water, the
Yeah.
water. I
And
meant the
and quick
Northern
thing with
Kingdom.
yeah, quick thing with the Northern Kingdom, even from the time of Israel in the Book of Kings, it speaks about it. When the Northern Kingdom got put in captivity by the Assyrians, and then the Southern Kingdom got put in captivity after by the Babylonians. So throughout time in history is the same pattern. Northern Kingdom always get it first, and then Southern Kingdom get it after. But Southern Kingdom they both get it the worst. But Northern Kingdom always get it first, and Southern Kingdom get it after. It's the same pattern. Same thing over here in America. It's doing the same exact thing. Northern Kingdom first, and Southern Kingdom after. Oh, yeah.
Everybody understand what the cap was saying? So you had the Egyptian captivity, then you had the Assyrian captivity, then you had the Babylonians, which is the Cushites, Ethiopians. Then you had the Persians and the Medes, and then it goes into you know, the Greeks and then the Romans. Okay, the Water King. All right, I'm gonna continue.
It didn't end, friends, and it hasn't ended yet. So I think on one point, African people and people of African descent are extremely resilient. Matter of fact, I think we're a miracle. Far be it for us to pathologize or to look and cast this idea of weak and sick people. Oh, on the contrary, we are profoundly resilient because we've done everything we've done thus far with no help, with not even the ability to have this discussion.
In Khan Salakia, um, you know, I don't know if any Israelites ever talked to the lady, but when she say African descent, you know, it's 54 countries over there. So she's basically talking about most of us was taken from the west coast of Africa. All right. They have a slave map and all this other stuff out there you guys can look into. But when she says African descent, I've never met the lady, but I'm a corrector. She met the Israelites. So as we go around in the truth, we always call the Africans, and we say we're different from them. I've even known people from the west coast of Africa, and they agree that the Hamites are different. They don't talk to them like that. They actually hate them, and they look different. Their spirit is different, you know. So let me continue.
As though it were possible, we escaped injury in all those hundreds of years and the years that followed. So this kind of journey I'm going to take you on.
So she's saying that we escaped, we're stronger. You know, there I didn't pull that scripture. We're stronger than everyone, and we have the will. Um, we are God's chosen people. We are above all people. You know, um, we're just smarter. I mean, for crying out loud, what has Esau invented? This dude didn't invent the lawnmower. We finding out he didn't really invent the light bulb. You know, refrigerators. Like this guy is like a pathological liar. You know, he's one of those dudes before, you know, catfishing, Esau catfish. This guy is crazy. He just, oh yeah, I did that. I made ice hockey. He didn't even make ice hockey. You know, the brothers escaped to the Canadian border and they started ice hockey. All this is coming out. You know, it's just ridiculous what this man has done. And again, he just keeps us chasing our tail with these old white perverts. You know, I'll get into Sigmund Freud a little bit. I'll touch on that guy. Whew.
It's going to be one that really gives a perspective on what this trauma was, what it looks like, and clinically, what is post-traumatic stress disorder? What does it look like? Let me give you a little snapshot. We'll get into it in more depth a little later. But post-traumatic stress disorder, if in fact you are diagnosed with that, again,
Now, Salakia, she's gonna go into some stuff. Think about your moms, especially everybody that's like over 30. Think about how moms was, your brothers, your sisters, people in the neighborhood. Just listen to what she says.
remember, direct or indirect trauma. Here are some of the symptoms. A feeling of foreshortened future. Now, what does that mean? A feeling, well, you're not going to live long. How many of you are running into young people that don't believe they're going to make it past their 20s?
I think everybody on here can take on that one. No, yes, maybe so.
God.
I mean, for us, we always say, man, I ain't gonna make it to, I'm not gonna make it to 20. I'm not gonna make it 25. I'm not gonna make, I mean, we all said that. It's part of what she's talking about. It's not normal.
Exaggerated startle response, outbursts of anger, difficulty falling or staying asleep, hypervigilance, right? These are symptoms.
Everybody hear that, right? We got some family members like that. Most of us are like that, hyper vigilant, always looking at the window. You know, always, even if you live in a rural area, why you keep looking out the window? Jason is not real. You know, if he was, somebody would have been got him, but he's not real. Michael Myers is not real. You know, those, you know, they're not, it's just crazy how we are. And this is where it comes from.
Of post-traumatic stress disorder. This is like DSM stuff, Diagnostic Statistical Manual Mental Disorders. It's in there. And there's a whole listing of all these symptoms. Now I want to roll it back so you can understand what the transmission theory is, because I'm going to talk about transmission. So how does a person that's been traumatized by post-traumatic, literally has a diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder, and can we, if we are logical and we are reasonable people, assume that a fair number of Africans had to have had post-traumatic stress disorder? You think? I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about them. Untreated though, right? Okay, so now let's do the math. Mom, who saw dad sold or sister raped, has post-traumatic.
So I'll stop it there so we all can understand where we're going. Now, if she had an Israelite there, we can bring the scriptures out for her and let her know it's our people. But she's saying Africa in general. But, you know, we're here to talk about a few people that this has happened to, and that is God's chosen people. So let's get Deuteronomy. And these are scriptures everyone knows. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 1. Baba Kusha.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Now, we all know nations mean other races, other nations, okay? According to the scriptures, it's 18 different nations. You Google it, I think it's like, I don't know, like 4,200 different religions. But I think it's like 1,800 different races out there. If you Google it, you know, you Google how old is the earth, 4.8 billion years old. These dudes are idiots. A tree would be the same size as the earth, it's 4 billion years old. This is Esau, you know, that's his logic. He's a moron. So when it says, and it shall come to pass, thou shalt hearken diligently, we did not do that. He doesn't punish in onesies or twosies. We would never get out of this kingdom. All right, y'all good. Everybody got to get it. You know, it's you know, when I was younger, I was the youngest, and so by the time I came out, everybody was pretty much out the house and stuff. But if I messed up, my brothers and them got in trouble. You know, mass punishment. So, and the military does the same thing. Now, sometimes that works, sometimes it don't. But mass punishment, it gets people in order. You know, you're gonna say, hey man, what are you doing? No, bro, we gotta be in by 10. Come on, let's go. You start to police up your brother, you start to police up your sister. And that's what happens. You know, each one teach one. Hurt people hurt people. So again, when it says, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently, then we won't be in the child of slavery, like the good doctor mentioned. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to read Deuteronomy. This is what happened. And this is what she's speaking on. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. Go ahead, Doc.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou would not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee.
Say again, all these what?
All these curses shall come upon thee.
PTSD. Say it again.
All these curses shall come upon thee.
Hyper vigilant. Say it again.
All these curses shall come upon thee.
And overtake. Everybody understand? So this is what she was trying to say. You know what I mean? Which I mean, you know, everybody finds out when they find out. She should know by now. You know, she's been around a while. But it shall come to pass. If you don't hearken, all these curses are going to, come to get you. And go ahead and read the classic, number 68, verse 68.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondswomen, and no man shall buy you.
All right. So you guys gotta get everyone on here should understand that scripture. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt. Like I say, we speak slang. Crib is in the Bible. The donkey knows the master's crib. Come on now. We say crib all the time. Where we get it from? So when it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, into bondage. What was we doing in Egypt? We wasn't chilling. They was sicking crocodiles on us, raping us, murdering us, doing all sorts of stuff. Putting their feet on our backs. You know, um, when you have a people and subjective, I got to see that a little bit when I got to see it a lot. So when I was in Kuwait, they got slaves. I was like, what? Yeah, they got Pakistanis, the Filipino, they got all these people over here. I mean, they constantly working, and it came out like years ago. They sued like the Pakistanis, the Philippines. There was a bunch of other different African countries. The Kuwaitis is the third richest country in the world. One Kuwaiti dollar is like $4. Them dudes walking around with their little dashikis on. They got their little star. They don't even sell foam cups at Starbucks. They sell regular cups like you have, like a regular coffee cup. I'm like, dang, it's bougie. I'm sorry, I had to say that. But to go to the Kuwait airport, man, that place is crazy. You think Dubai is nice, but they actually, and Dubai has slaves. So it's going on, and even Africa and stuff like that. So when people are slaves and you see that the people don't care about them, when you get to see that, you're like, well, hold up. My ancestors were slaves. But some of us don't look at it like that, because what Esau got us doing is chasing our tail. All this different things, but it all comes back to the Bible. So again, this is why we're talking about this, okay? Because it goes back to the Bible and it goes back to the curses. All right. So I want to go into her book, and one of the things in her book she talks about is science fiction. It's called cognitive dissonance. Okay. So cognitive dissonance. This is happening in the 18th century. Now check this out. So science fiction. This is from the post-traumatic slave syndrome. All right, let me take off my blur. I'm trying to be high speed. Let me take this thing off. All right, I ain't got time. There we go. Anyway, the book is called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome by Dr. Joy DeGruy. Okay. So page 42, I'm gonna read this. Science fiction, science and fiction. Cognitive dissonance may be one of the answers to the questions of why Europeans, Esau, needed to view blacks as subhuman. Next, we must explore how Europeans convinced those of African descent themselves that they were a lesser class of human. Everybody understand that? I ain't the brightest crayon nor the sharpest knife. So let's look up, cognitive dissonance. Let's look that word up. All right. So I'll share it with you guys. So you guys ain't think I'm pulling it out. Like, oh, he's making this stuff up. He said he wasn't bright like a crayon. He's bright as crayon. All right. Everybody see that?
Gone.
All right. Cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance.
All right. So this is the psychology. This is how the white man is. All right. The state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change. What the hell that mean? The state, the state of the state of having inconsistent thoughts. So that's like the school shooters. Was that like that black young man that went ahead? He was cognitive dissonance. He had the state of inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change. Should they be using all this stuff? Do you guys know what year this word came out? All right. You guys want to take a guess? Well, it came out in the 50s. Cognitive is a Latin word, dissonance. Okay. So this thing came out in the 50s. Just like everything. I think we all familiar with the word conspiracy theory, correct?
Con.
All right.
Con.
So conspiracy theory started by who? You guessed it. The CIA. You know? So the CIA started the conspiracy theory because they want you to think that you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? They want you to think that there's something wrong with you when you thinking all these different things. So when we get into the etymology of cognitive, the term cognitive dissonance is a compound of words cognitive and dissonance. The word cognitive comes from the Latin word connoissere, which means to get to know. The word dissonance comes from the Latin verb dissonare, which means to disagree in sound. So what does all that mean? It's some psychological stuff that's going to mess you up. So let's go to let's go to the book of Genesis. I'm gonna put it on the screen now. The book of Genesis, chapter 25. Is that me?
No, I was just sharing the book since it was.
Oh, come on, the water.
So yeah, you could go ahead and share the screen.
Okay, Con. Everybody see that book?
Con.
All right, Kane. Okay, can you see what I put on the screen? You start at Genesis chapter 25, verse 32. No, Salakia. Okay, let's go 25, 29. Genesis 25, 29.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, beginning at verse 29. And Jacob saw a pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau saw a pottage of Salaki, and Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, what that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
Con. So we all know what Edom means, Salakia. Edom means wastes away, right? So this dude, go ahead. Somebody say something?
No, I say, come, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. So this dude Esau. So we all know he's French, he's German, he's everybody. He's the last samurai, you know. He's the last, and then I mean, this dude just he's Native American, he's everything. You know what I'm saying? Asian. I mean, he's just oh God, Esau boy. He's like a magician out here. He's a slimy one. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me. I pray. He's a grown man. You know what I'm saying? With that same reply, it's weakness. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at cognitive dissonance, it's a person that's in, it's like, bro, I'm out here just like you. Go ahead and read verse 31.
31. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright.
Shalakia, sell me this day your birthright. He's that hungry. He's ready to eat some ground beef. All right, we don't know. But it wasn't cooked. All right. We all seen those Esau and them girls. I used to see it in Germany. They sell bacon, right? In the stores. It's like real thin. And they eat that stuff. I'm like, ew, you mean you ain't gonna fry that? She's like, go ahead and try it. No, I won't. They don't. It's crazy, boy. Go ahead, continue out.
32. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
Salakia. So when we look at that, let's stop that right there. So when you look at that word, give me a second. Give me a second. Quick. So you look at the word cognitive dissonance, the state of having inconsistent thoughts. Now he had a birthright, that correct? And he sold it. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die. So here he is with his own psychology, cognitive dissonance, the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change. This dude's always been like that. He is cognitive dissonance. He is in the state of having inconsistent thoughts. Who's going to sell their birthright? Why would you? It doesn't even make any sense, right? So let me share my screen again. Just trying to put it together for y'all. Okay, go ahead, continue. Where we at? You can read, start at 32 again.
Verse 32. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he swore unto him. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
Salakia. And he was like, yo, man, so you not hungry, bro? So this what you want to do? You got some issues, man? You cognitive dissonance? You know what I'm saying? So this what you want to do? Swear to me. And then read 34.
34. Then Jacob gave Esau bread in pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up, and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
So he didn't want it. So to me, that sounds like he had dissonance, or man, I'm messing it up. Cognitive dissonance. You know what I'm saying? His own word. And this is what he does. He keeps having people, chasing the tail. Let's get Job. Let's get Job 9 and 24.
This is the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where? And who is he?
So this is what he does. And I bring that up to talk about the Renaissance. Everybody familiar with the Renaissance period?
Con.
All right. So the Renaissance period started the 14th century, okay, which is the 1500s, okay? So the 14th century, so 1500 to 1700 was the Renaissance period. So I'm going to read you the definition. Well, we'll put it on the screen. See, I don't think I'm making it up. Let's put this baby on the screen. Because this is what he does when she's talking about that PTSD, right? This is what he does. So he went ahead, we got free, right, in the 1800s. I'm gonna touch a little bit in the 1600s, but we got free in the 1800s, right? Which is the 17th century, all right? So the 14th century, we're gonna read it right here. So the 14th, so the Renaissance, a revival of art and literature under the influence of classical models in the 14th and 16th centuries. So when the brother just read, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, he covered the faces of the judges. Who are the judges? Us. And if you keep reading the definition, it gets crazy. A revival of or renewed interest in something. That's vague. Interest in what? If you read the other one. So we're going to start from the top. The revival of art, literature under the influence. So they changed everything. Then you go to the next one. The culture and style of art and architecture developed during the Renaissance. What does that mean? The culture and the style of art. That means he painted the faces thereof. He changed everything. He made just stupid laws. And he erased history, a revival of a renewed interest in something. Let's get let's get First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse. Let's get First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 48.
Done.
And lay open the book of the law, wherein the heathen sought to paint the face, Slaki, 48 from the top. And lay open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Done. So everybody understand that? So, and he laid open the book of the law. All right, it's them first 5 books, right? Wherein the heathen has sought to paint likeness of their images. All because we go back to Deuteronomy, right? But if you listen to these scholars and stuff like that, they always want to throw out there certain things that's going to keep us chasing the tail, and it's going to keep you into Christianity. It's going to keep you into the 5%ers. It's going to keep you into this woke Christian. None of that stuff makes sense. This whole Christmas. Everybody seen that? There's a new movie out called Red. It's on Prime. Everybody heard about that one? It's on Prime. It got The Rock in there and stuff.
Con. I just saw it.
Esau is so wicked. This dude put in Krampus. Now we all know who Krampus is. He's so smooth with it though. He was like, Krampus was the bad one. And Krampus focused on all the naughty children. And Santa was the one that was like, nah, man, you can't do it like that. And they got into a big fight and then they separated. Come on, man. When has you ever heard of that? We all know he was a demon. You know, it stems back to Nimrod and everything. But when the white man got a hold of it, he turned into Krampus. And he used to go around getting all the bad kids, doing bad stuff to them. They used to sacrifice people, burn a log for like 7, 8 days, kind of like Hanukkah, not burning the log. And they would molest kids. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they had to murder someone or sacrifice someone. You know, kind of like what they was doing on Epstein Island. You know, Hollywood. All this stuff surrounds the crime. I can't believe they actually put that in the movie. That was crazy. But he's always showing you stuff that's real. And people still celebrate, you know, Christmas. It has nothing to do with Jesus. It doesn't make any sense. But post-traumatic slave syndrome. And it gets even worse. So we're going to jump to I'm touching this a little bit. I couldn't find it. Think brother what's it, Hashar? Not him. I can't remember. He had his own channel and he had it on his channel, but I seen it before. Everybody familiar with the mice, the male mice that they shocked? They put them in the maze and they shocked them, and then they had babies with the females, and then when them babies came out, wherever they was shocked at, they kind of was like, oh no, I don't want none of that. So we learned that PTSD, it comes from, I mean, the women can get it too if they're confronted with things while the child is in the womb, right? But the man is right back here somewhere. And I forget the name of it, but it stays with us. So all the trauma that we've been through, we put in these kids, you know, and it just gets passed down. The hyper vigilant, the I ain't gonna live, the this, like that young brother that killed everybody in the house. I'm sure they seen signs of something. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like it. I'm sure they seen signs, but you know, like D.L. Hughley said, You know, sometimes our people are we just ignore stuff. Your son is standing in the door with pajamas on, with a helmet on, hitting his head, licking the door. It's something wrong with him. You can't send that boy to regular school. But you know our people, nah, he good. He gonna finish school. He got a whole helmet on. You know, we got to start getting our people help. You got to get therapy, especially if you grew up in the urban area. So it's normal to hear gunshots and stuff. But as it's saying in Deuteronomy, I'm going to put you through the curses. And this is going to be part one. And like I said, I'm under the weather. And I wanted to touch on something. Does everyone know where the term white comes from? Anybody ever know where that term come from? And not none of the elders.
Salaki. I won't say I know where, but I believe the original meaning or understanding of it is for purity, cleanness.
Con, do we know about what year? It was a specific year it started. I did my research on this. I got to present it, but man, it was a long time ago I came across it. It's like stuff on this internet, you can't I couldn't even find that mice film. They like took that completely down. You know, Esau boy, he's finding things that we know. And I, you know how the algorithm is. I probably wasn't typing the right thing. But yes, white is purity, right? So let's go into anyone ever hear of the Bacon's Rebellion? And not pork bacon. We ain't talking about pork bacon. He's a guy. Never heard of it? Okay, fine. All right, let's get into it. Just a little bit. We're going to touch on a little bit. All right. So this dude, Bacon Rebellion in Virginia in the years 1675, 1676. So 1600s, if I'm not mistaken, I believe in the 1600s, the Willie Lynch letters came out about 1610. I'll make it all make sense. Hopefully I ain't lose nobody. Everybody with me? Okay, come. Salakia. So 17. Okay. So this happened. Yeah, I was off. So 1675, 1676, this occurred, right? Just read a little bit. So the Bacon's Rebellion was in Virginia, first popular uprising in American colonies. It was long viewed as an early revolt. Basically, he was told that he was going to get some land, right? I'm gonna just paraphrase it for you. So he's told he's going to get some land, but the governor was like, "Nah, man, I'll get to you." What was his name? Governor Berkeley. He's like, "Nah, I'll get to you." And as you can see, that they was always being threatened by Indians and stuff like that, right? Well, mind you, we were in slavery. So this white dude got everybody together because you had the Irish, you had the French, you had the German, you had all these different white folks, right? And he got all them people together with the brothers, and he started a fight. And they literally had to bring in the military to break this up. So it went on for like a year or two, right? So Berkeley's governor declared Bacon a rebel, removed him from the council, whatever, right? So basically, this guy, Berkeley was the governor or whatever of Jamestown, and he came in there and messed some things up. So the elites were scared. They didn't want to touch this, right? So what did they do? Very smart. They came up because everybody was territorial. Hey, man, I'm Italian. Hey, man, I'm French. Hey, I'm German. And they started the term white people. That's when it all started, right then and there. All right. I got to find the paperwork on that, But that's when, and it kind of makes sense. That's when it started, because check it out. Willie Lynch letters came out 1712. Because brothers was breaking away, going to the Native Americans reservations and stuff like that. I mean, not the reservations, but their land. People got to really do their history. The Louisiana Purchase was huge. They owned a lot of stuff. America didn't really have that much stuff. They ain't own Florida. They ain't own like nothing really, and they were slowly, getting it and everything, but it took some time. And these natives wasn't playing. So they making deals with the French, with the Germans. The Germans had parts of California. They had parts of Texas. It's crazy. So all the Esau people were in different places, but they fall under one umbrella. White. Think about it. You go to any country, you cannot call nobody black, because black is for us. Wouldn't you think it go for East Indian? There's East Indians darker than me. There's Vietnamese darker than me. But we're the only people on the planet named black. Why is that? You know what I'm saying? And then you have to look at what Esau does. So he comes up, what I was reading in the book, Science and Fiction, Cognitive Dissonance. Okay? Where you're in a state of disbelief. You're like, oh man, I don't know. You're confused, which goes into PTSD. Even though these are the curses, but we can take what they're doing and, understand it. So check it out. The answers begin with us. So 18th century rationale. The answer begins with the preeminent Swedish biological scientist, the 18th century, named Carl Linnaeus. All this stuff happened in the 1700s. The Renaissance was 14 to 1600s, 14th to the 16th century, which is 1700s. This is when they did all that damage to us. You know what I'm saying? And because they understand this Bible. So then this guy came up with this stupid, okay. So he came up with 5 different humans. The Homo Americans, as reddish or colored, obstinate, contended, and regulated by custom. So that's 1. Homo Europaeus as white, fickle, sangu, blue-eyed, gentle, and governed by laws. Homo Asiaticus as sallow, grave, dignified, avaricious, and ruled by opinion. And Homo Afra, which Afra is in the Bible. Anyway, that's another story. But Homo Afra as black, cunning, lazy, lustful, careless, and governed by caprice. Wow. So we the worst out of everybody. It doesn't stop there. So this is this dude. I'm gonna get it. Really? Oh, there we go. So it's a white man with a wig on. All right. That's his little gay looking self. Then we go to Bloombach. And he was the one that created, the 5 races. Okay. Which I'm not going to go too much into it, but this is a very good book to read. Okay. Post-traumatic slave syndrome. So you go in this book and you can match up scriptures and stuff like that. And you get an understanding of all the trauma that we went through. So it's normal for us to be not wanting to live till we're a certain age, and always our mom or our brothers like just so hyped. Like, why are you so mad? Like when I was younger, that's why I excelled at football. I was angry. I just wanted to hurt everybody. I didn't know why. I think when I turned about 15, I kind of chilled, but you're just angry. And that young man that did that, we got to be able to identify stuff, because stuff is passed down. Hopefully if you don't get anything tonight, you get the post-traumatic slave syndrome, that this stuff is passed down to us. Without Deuteronomy 28:1, we're going to keep getting stuff passed down to us. It's a recycling. It's just going to keep, it's like the dog chasing his tail. And the white man keep telling you stuff like, or Esau, he keep telling you, oh no, man, just pray. Pray to who? That gay looking Jesus? the dude with the flip-flops, with the long stringy dog hair that looks suspect, because Jesus is our Lord and Savior. He's, Yahweh. These people are just nuts, and it's just like, you got to make it make sense. We dealing with all this Trinity, the Godhead, all this other stuff like that. So again, tonight's class this is part one. I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth in part two, but this is on post-traumatic slave syndrome. And basically, as Israelites, we do suffer PTSD or PTSS, postpartum or post-traumatic slave syndrome. And if you've been in the streets, you've been shooting people, you've been in prison, it's probably even worse. So on top of what your forefathers gave you, now you living that crazy life. You're always paranoid. All that falls under PTSD, guys. So hopefully, you guys got a good lesson. Anyone have any scripture they want to bring out? Do they have any questions? Do we hopefully I got to the point. So in order, first we was talking about, the PTSD from Dr. Jarvis, we call him Mr. And you guys can get videos on her. She goes speak all around. And then as you click on YouTube, the algorithm will change up. Then I talked about Genesis 25, how Esau and his cognitive dissonance, all right? And he wants to confuse us, like I didn't really go into the psychology, but this man is teaching psychology. Like the guy Sigmund Freud. We all know that guy is a pedophile. He died of syphilis or something like that. I mean, the dude was sick. Talking about the first person you love is your mama. What? The first woman you fall in love with your mama. First person you fall in love with your dad. This guy was sick. And there's things coming out on him that says he was into that type of stuff. We talked about the CIA, how they started, the word conspiracy theory. I didn't touch on it, and I want to go in part two, but, do anyone know why the FBI started?
Literally, all of these things started because of us. To spin stories, manipulate the truth, police us. I mean, just like literally all of these, alphabet systems, it really boils down to policing us as a people. So unfortunately, that's what it is. That's really what it boils down to.
The brother put it out nobly. FBI, everybody familiar with Jack Johnson? He was married to a white chick. They hated that dude. This is where the Mann Act come from Jack Johnson. And they started a Federal Bureau of Investigation to try to hem that brother up. And they eventually got him. So that's where your FBI come from. The Supreme Court. It was like 100 of them, and I think 90 of them owned slaves. Like everything, like you just said, is because of the Israelites. Again, there's a book of Psalms. It's talking about they was plotting against us. They did a Confederate. Yes, all that stuff is true. All these scriptures will bring that out. But we can keep chasing the dog tail and be like, oh, well, no, it's in the Bible. Esau's, he's kind of telling you, but he ain't going to give you everything. It's like when you take those tests, he's not going to give you everything. He's going to kind of trick you up. But just like the brother said, all of these things was created for us. You're not going to win against ATF, the DEA. Them dudes a bunch of murder. Don't even get started on DEA. But you're not going to get over on them. You can't even get over on the cops. You're definitely getting over on DEA. I don't even know how they still an agency. Lord in Christ. SWAT, you're not, all of this stuff is for us. Because what? We are God's holy people, and they are afraid of us. You see the videos. It's always a dude my size fighting 6 cops. You know, like, come on. I'm like 200. I ain't no 350, no 275. You got guys at 150 they can't, control. So again, they hate us because they ain't us. This is why we have to make these feast days. We can't make Hanukkah and Christmas. Krampus gonna come get you. All right. You know who Krampus is, all right? Most High, Death Angel. So, we got to get our stuff together. So again, post-traumatic slave disorder is a real thing. We as a people are messed up. But once we come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, we're good. Okay. So, I mean, once I became an Israelite, I was diagnosed with PTSD from being in the military and stuff. I ain't embarrassed to say it, but when I came into this truth, my whole mindset changed. I was constantly at the door, looking. I slept with my gun for like 2 years. I had a knife in my pocket. I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? But you don't know because you in that environment. There's some of y'all like this now that been in these streets. You didn't even have to go to war. Some of y'all got your gun on you right now. There's nothing wrong with that, but just make sure but just and you can get a therapist, Israel. Therapy is okay. All right. Therapy is okay. The Most High uses people to help us out. You can't always call your cousin, the elder. He got 1,000 people calling him, captain, Shema. You got everybody trying to call. Get yourself some insurance, save your money up, get a therapist. Find somebody you can talk to, because we are suffering out here. But as long as we follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, we're good. But I understand everybody falls short sometimes, but we all still need someone to talk to clear our mindset, so we don't wind up like that brother. He was messed up probably for a long time. That just wasn't one incident. His family just had it coming. You know what I'm saying? That's sad. He killed 6 people? Was it 6 people he killed? Oh,
Done.
God damn. My heart goes out to that. That is so sad. And you look at his face, he looks mad and smited, you know? Man, we got to do better. Especially with these young folks, guys. We got to do better. They're hurting out there. We felt these guys. I can say that. Because we all had barbecues, our uncles and stuff like that. We don't really do that no more. We don't really talk to our young cousins and our nieces and nephews and stuff. We got to do better because they're suffering too. You can't not talk to your cousin or your little nephew because he's homosexual. It's your blood. What happened to him to become that way? So I ain't saying you gotta hang out with him, pause, but we just have to understand that we as a people are messed up. And it comes from lack of following this Bible and chasing the dog tail of Christian dogma, Christianity, Catholicism, Islam, Buddha, that fat guy, all these different things, guys. So my part 2, I'm gonna go into I want to go into the different religions and how they all started and stuff like that. And I'm gonna try to tie it into this of how they have us all, chasing our tail. I done told so many people, hey man, you can't do this, you can't do that, and they look at my past. Yeah, look at my past. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're standing there peeing in the wind. I am too. Don't throw no rocks in my glass house. You know what I'm saying? We all trying to, get better. So, when you try to correct, oh, remember that time you did this? Yeah, I was 22. Just like this Travis Hunter thing with his girl. There's so much stuff with this young lady. It's crazy. Like, bro, you're 21. But he'll figure it out. He will definitely figure it out. So, we were all young. We have to talk to these young folks. Stop letting these 20-year-old men get married. I got married at 22. I don't even know where she at right now. So we have to do better. We got to express, even if they ain't like it. And I know a lot of us don't like to talk to the younger generation because sometimes it can be knuckleheads, but we have to, because we're suffering this post-traumatic slave syndrome, and they didn't have it as hard as us. They take school buses. They're dying in cars. How are you 6 years old and just dying in a car? Open the damn door. But they ain't built like us. They wasn't walking to school in kindergarten. They wasn't walking to school. They wasn't taking 2 buses in the first grade. They wasn't doing none of that. Shit, you probably would never see your kid right now. You'd be like, hey, where you going? Oh, I'm going to go to Popeye's, Dad. All right, bro. I'll holler at you. You'll never see him again. All right. No folly, but they're different than us. Why? Because we raised them that way. Raised them with the iron fist. Let them know what we went through. Let me tell you something real quick, and I'll yield. So there's a place in Philly called Geno's. Everybody heard of that? I know New York has been there a couple times. Been to Philly. All right. So when I was younger, I used to go to Geno's, go to Pat Steaks and stuff. So, my mom, she passed away in 2019, right? So she was telling me just a bunch of stuff. She's like, yeah, I used to go to the South. I said, for real? She's like, yeah, they wouldn't let us drink out of water fountains. I'm like, for real? I've just been in school 13 years. You never told me about that stuff. She's like, yeah, one time the white guys came there with a shotgun and kicked us out of they was like in some little lake or something. And he told them to get out. He was like, you niggers are from up north, huh? Well, you guys, this is not how we act down here. I was like, really? That happened? She was like, yeah, they had white only water fountains. You see it in the school, but when your mom tell you, like, Mom, I'm like 40 years old. You didn't want to tell me this? Geno's and Pat's didn't serve black people steaks until the 70s. I was born in 76. I'm like, and y'all went there? I ain't never been there since. She told me that. I mean, it's nasty anyway. But I ain't never, I'm like, because I go back to Philly sometimes and grab because people want Geno's. I refuse to go. I was like, what? For real? They wouldn't serve us food? She's like, yeah, the line was around the block. You couldn't tell me this as a teenager? So that's what I'm saying. We have to educate these young, they don't know. Half of them never been called the N-word. I think now they're trying to change the ninja or something, but we have to educate these young folks. I ain't saying go right now and wake everybody, hey, get up. All right, we're gonna have a class. I ain't saying that, but we just have to be cognitive, not cognitive dissonance. Okay. Anyone have any questions of me? Excuse me. Can I hear you, Kane?
You're coming in really low.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I was say, yeah, this is a real heavy topic, King, because especially with us dealing with the trauma and the generational trauma passed down to generation in America.
Yeah.
For about more than 400 years. So it's just for example, look at Blake Griffin.
Who again?
His pops, I said Blake Griffin, the basketball player. Right? His pops is a Levite and his mom was an Edomite, right? But look how the generation, everything changes when Blake Griffin married an Edomite woman and look at his child.
Yeah, that's
in
crazy.
just one generation. If you would have never known, you would have thought his child was a full-blown Edomite.
Uh-huh.
So within a generation, look how everything just changed. From his father being a Levite, dark-skinned black man, to now his son looks like a full-blown Edomite.
Yeah. He got blue
Within
eyes.
our time span of a generation. Huh?
Oh, so like I said, he got blue eyes, don't his son got blue
I
eyes?
think he does. I think he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think from his mom's or his mom's and everything. So look how everything just changed and just within a generation or two. So imagine us, yeah, Khan, my
Yeah.
homies too. All right. So imagine us how much we suffered being here in America for damn near centuries, 400 years and more. Look how everything changed. And we're just a byproduct of all the things that we've been through as a people. Us right now. We, the baby boomers and all of that stuff. Look how everything changed. And look at where we at right now. So definitely a lot of healing is going to be needed. PTSD, and that's the benefit of the scriptures. The Lord heal us spiritually first, mentally with the scriptures. Let us know how we get through these curses while we in this situation, this predicament. And one more thing, they had this show called Them.
Fine.
Remember that show?
Fine. I was watching the second season. Fine.
Yeah. Remember the last episode when
Of the
the
first
Edomite was
season or
reading the
second?
Bible? I think that's the first
Yeah,
season.
you're right. Yeah, the first. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Remember
That
when
was
the Edomite was reading the Bible?
fine.
And he was trying to curse the sister?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, why are you doing this? Why?
Yeah, that was deep.
She didn't know what was going on. She was confused. She said, why are you doing this to me? Why are you treating me like this? He said, because you made a pact with God
God.
and you broke it. So now we got the right to treat you how we want to treat y'all because you broke your pact with God. And he was torturing her. Remember, he put out her eyes and everything, started burning her and everything.
God. That was deep.
Yeah, that's a hell of a show. So we deal with a lot of trauma, but by the grace of Yahweh Shemel Rashad, we're towards the end of it. So it's definitely going to be a lot of healing of our people. Mental sickness, all different type of spirits and demons on them coming into this truth. And we all got to heal, man. So I just say good lesson, King, and Kwame Shala. I yield.
Hey,
Go ahead, Ken.
Lucky. Yeah, just wanted to kind of, there's so much areas in the scripture where we went through PTSD, cognizant dissonance, trauma. I mean, that's when you look at the scripture, it's, it's literally full of our people going through trauma, right? So this is not an easy or light topic. I mean, but there's so much references in the scripture of our trauma, and our people kind of going through that thing of wanting to die, because of the trauma they were going through. We could look at we could go jump into Tobit. We're just gonna run through maybe a couple of them. So let's read Tobit chapter 3. We're gonna read from verse 8. Well, let's read from verse 7.
Which book and chapter again?
Tobit chapter 3 from verse 7.
Tobit chapter 3, verse 7?
Yeah.
I got it, King. The book of Tobit, chapter 3, verse 7. It came to pass the same day that Ebante, a city of Media, Sarah, the daughter of Agul, was also reproached by her father's maids.
Right. So this is this sister here, she was reproached, which means everybody was talking about her. And it was so bad that, her maids were doing it, her fellow sisters, her friends, the people under her everybody literally was reproaching her because of the situation that she was dealing with. So imagine the trauma coming from, your fellow people, your brothers, your sisters. They're putting that heavy trauma upon you. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Because that she had been married to 7 husbands, whom, as Modus, the evil spirit had killed, before they had leaned with her, Doest that not know, said they, that thou hast strangled thine husbands? Thou hast had already 7 husbands, neither was thou named after any of them.
right? So, so they putting everything up in her face, man. This is like everybody know your business, and everybody, reproaching you because of that. They accused her of killing all of them 7 husbands. Like everybody know you strangled them men, right? You're the killer. You're the murderer in the neighborhood, in the city, right? In the community. And yeah, the way they coming at it is like, yeah, no, nobody really like you. Nobody wants you around here because you're a murderer, right? You literally you're a serial killer right now, right? You kill 7 men, you strangle them, right? And everybody knows. Does thou not know, said they, that thou hast strangled thy husbands? She's the Israelite strangler. They gave her a title. She got a name because of that. That's some serious trauma she's going through right there, right? Um, and you killed all of them men, and none of them, you took their name, right? Go ahead, continue.
Verse 9. Wherefore doest thou beat us for them? If they be dead, go thy ways after them. Let us never see of thee either son or daughter.
Man, if they're dead, why don't you go and die with them? Why don't you go die? That's what we really want. We don't want to see no offsprings come out of you. We don't want no daughters coming out of you to be part of this community, or no sons coming out of you to be part of this community. They died. Why don't you go and die yourself? Go kill yourself. This is the stress and the trauma she is going through because of this evil spirit, right? Continue.
Verse 10. When she heard these things, she was very sorrowful, so that she thought to have strangled herself. And she said, I am the only daughter of my father, and if I do this, it shall be a reproach unto him, and I shall bring his old age with sorrow unto the grave.
So she is right now having suicidal thoughts because of all of the stress, all of the pain, the anguish, the reproach that everybody is laying on her. This girl want to go and kill herself. This is an example of cognizant dissidence, right? And we all have levels of cognizant dissidence every day in every one of our lives, right? For example, we know that eating certain foods is not going to be good for our health, right? We all kind of have a sugar addiction, but still, everybody probably got some ice cream, certain foods that we know we shouldn't eat. We have it in a cupboard or fridge or whatever the case is, right? So the cognizant dissidence is to know, for an example, that these foods are going to be bad for your health, but yet you're still eating it, right? For the most part, when you get really sick, the doctors tell you stay away from pork. But people eat it anyway. The scripture tells you stay away from it, right? But people eat it anyway. That's we know that exercising is good for our health, and being active is definitely a positive thing. But we don't always exercise, right? So we know one thing in our mind, but we do one thing with our body, right? Paul says, the things that I want to do, I do not. The things that I don't want to do, that's what I'm doing, right? Paul had some cognizant dissonance going on. He wanted to do one thing, but he's doing another thing. And the thing he wanted to not do is the thing he's doing. I'm having a struggle inside of me. That's cognizant dissonance. So we all have it, and we all display it in our lives in one way or the other, right? But do we, so it's a trauma that we all deal with. right? And this sister here is like, man, I want to kill myself because of all of the things that's going on. I just really want to die right now. But I can't kill myself because if I kill myself, my dad is going to be reproached. He's going to go down to the grave, in sorrow. Everybody's going to be happy that I killed myself, but I'm not going to be happy because I know what it's going to do to my family. So she's going through some cognizant dissonance, right? And some heavy trauma, right? It's so bad. Go ahead, continue.
God. Then verse 11, then she prayed toward the window and said, Blessed art thou, O Lord my God, and thine holy and glorious name is blessed and honorable forever. Let all thy works praise thee forever. Verse 12, and now, O Lord, I set my eyes and my face toward thee and say, Take me out of the earth that I may hear no more the reproach.
She is so sorrowful. She is praying to God, kill me, right?
Wow.
Kill me. I don't want to live. I can't deal with the stress. I can't deal with the sorrow, all of the things that I'm dealing with. God, I'm praying to you that you take my life. Get me out of this place. There ain't no people I could go talk to and be like, man, this is what I'm going through. This is what Ray says. This is what Sheena says. This is what, my uncle friend was saying down at the bar, down at the corner. This is what they're talking about. The whole city is talking about me because Seven's families, for those 7 men, they hate her.
Right.
All of them 7 men who died, they have families,
Right.
and they all looking at her as the strangler, the serial killer, right?
Right.
We know you did it. Yeah, you talking about some evil spirit, but nah, it was you who was the murderer here. And so she's dealing with all of this PTSD, cognitive dissonance, and it's heavy. Let's jump to some other situations where we got cognizant dissonance. Let's run to Second Maccabees chapter 7. This is some major PTSD that we're going to see here, right? Second Maccabees chapter 7. We can start from the top.
God. This is the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 1. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh and were tormented with scourges and whips. This is what I was going to bring out. Go ahead, King.
This is some major PTSD going on here,
God, that's
right?
messed up.
The whole family was taken, right? It doesn't tell us where the dad was. Most likely the dad maybe passed away, whatever. But this is the mother and her children, right? From the oldest to the youngest, all boys.
Hey, Slovakia King.
Son.
Yeah, I got the book. It's called Antiochus. It gets in depth with what happened in the time of the Maccabees and what Antiochus did, that wicked demon.
He
Yeah,
was
it said he tortured the pops first and killed them first.
Also, so it didn't give us here, but
yeah, he
Yeah,
gives the
in
account
the
here,
book
right?
it went into it.
yeah, and it's the Edomites that's giving their account from their perspective.
Oh wow, yeah,
Yeah,
that is a fire book to get.
yeah,
What's it called?
Antiochus.
Antiochus. Well, yeah, he was a ruthless general. This is the Greeks, everybody, if you don't know. This
God,
is the Greek Empire.
I they said he was so wicked. It said the Romans said this little pompous, proud bastard. They say he's the devil. The
He was
Romans
crazy.
said that.
He was crazy.
The Roman
Wow,
Edomites said that. They said we hate this guy, this little proud, devilish. And they said he was conniving. He always thought he was smarter and better than everybody as a kid.
Mm.
wow,
Yeah, I
that's
got the
heavy.
book out. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but they killed
That's
the
heavy.
pops. They killed the pops first. Then they left the woman with the 7 children. It shows
So
it in the book. I'll send the link.
yeah,
And
Khan,
Salakia,
Khan. Go ahead, King.
And then Antiochus, because he was ruthless. He killed a lot of the other Greek generals, if I'm not mistaken. He started war with everybody.
Yeah,
Right?
Khan.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was off the chain.
Antiochus Epiphanes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is, yeah, that's really good information right there. So they put the dad up for torture first, and I guess saying, hey, maybe when we kill the dad, everybody in the family is gonna fall in line, but
Khan.
that's not what happened, right? So go ahead, King.
Verse 2. But one of them that spake first said thus, what wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die rather than transgress the laws of our fathers.
Khan, right? So this family, they had it in their mind that, listen, we ain't gonna have cognizant dissidence about eating this stuff. We know we're not eating it.
At
And
all.
because they were set forth, you know, 10 toes down, as they say, they weren't about to go eat this thing that the Most High says in His laws. Listen, don't do this, right? That's how hard and heavy and tight they were holding on to the Most High's laws. They're not going to transgress even for their lives. They're not going to say, come on, guys, let's huddle. Let's use wisdom in this situation. Let's just eat it and then we're just going to repent later. Nah, they're like, nah, we ain't even putting that stuff in our body. Huh? So this is some serious PTSD that they literally went through here, right? The cause of the trauma that they were going through, because this was a traumatic situation, just like um, we read with the sister in Tobit. She was going through some trauma, right? She was going through a whole lot of situations there. Accusations, reproach, right? Condemnation, right? In this situation here, the trauma that causes violence, right? Persecution, right? They were martyred because they wanted to stand for what the Most High God's law said, right? So this is the situation or the trauma that they were dealing with, severe trauma they were dealing with, right? Visible physical distress, pain, being tortured, right? And it wasn't just like you're seeing another brother from your community being tortured, right? This was your own family member, your brothers being tortured, your mother being tortured, right? So this family and our nation, we see so many different examples of the PTSD, right? The trauma, the stress disorders, right? Because of the violence, the rape, the dismemberment, right? The embarrassment of all of the things that these other nations have done unto us, right? So let's jump into it just a little bit. Go ahead, continue.
Verse 3. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot.
Right? So the king is pissed off. Like, you don't want to eat what I tell you to eat? You know who I am? I'm the king. I run things here. You're going to do what I say to do, or you're going to get it. Right? So he ordered, this wasn't no little small frying pan that you frying eggs with in the morning. These were giant pots, cauldron, right? You see them witches movies, they standing around a big pot, boiling, right? Some with water, some with, this was boiling hot liquid that they were about to be fried in. Right? Continue.
All right, give me a second. Salakia. Salakia. Verse 4. Which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut off the utmost parts of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on.
Right. So the king says, quarter him. Right. This is what when they talk about this, a lot of stuff when they used to do to us, drawn and quartered. Right. They before they would take horses, 4 horses, you tie onto your legs and your arms, and then make those horses pull apart. So your body was literally ripped apart. The king here, he says, cut off, right? Cut off his legs, cut off his hands, right? So you just now have a stump. Plus, they cut out his tongue.
That's crazy.
And you watching this happen to your brother. This is happening right in front of you to your family member. This is PTSD. This is heavy trauma. Imagine that, man. You just cutting off your fingers was like, oh man, they'll cut off my fingers. They cut off your whole hand, man. Your
So,
whole hands are gone. Your feet gone. Go ahead, King.
and this is what the brother is talking about. I'll give you a visual. This is from the movie Immortals, where they boil these people. This is what the Greeks was doing.
Yeah, this is how creative they were in torturing you. This was the bull, right? And this was a metal bull they made. Inside of the bull, they would put, first of all, like they would put hoses in your mouth, right? You see these holes right here? They will put that in your mouth so that when you scream, it makes the bull sound like the bull is raging. Like,
Right.
you know, when a bull is ready to charge. So it's metal in there. You're in there naked. So imagine being put on in a metal furnace. You can't touch nothing, lean on anything because everything is super hot, burning. See the fires right under the bull's belly, and you're sitting right inside of there. So she's realizing her friends, her sisters, right? Her people, some of them are inside of this bull. So she's screaming because she realized the torture and the pain and the suffering that they're going in, being put in literally inside of an oven. And the only hole in this oven is the bull's nose, where it's literally your screams coming out of there.
Yeah, this is, man. Whew, this is them being cooked, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Salakia, don't forget Fair Use Act.
Oh, fair use. Water.
Fair Use Act. Yeah, this is for a teaching
Educational
moment,
purposes.
educational purpose. Right. So this is one example of their torturing things that they creatively made to torture people. Right. In the situation of the Maccabees, they were about to be fried in oil. Right. Now, it's not like you know, putting salt on the wound is bad enough, but your arms just got cut off, your legs just got cut off, and you're about to be put into a frying pan. Your whole body is about to be dipped, and they're gonna have little sticks that they're gonna push you in. They cut your tongue out, so even your screams can't really be heard. This is PTSD.
Salakia.
Go ahead, King.
And this is what the cartel was doing. I met some agent on the plane. At one point, I wanted to do border patrol. He's like, bro, you don't want to do that. So what the cartel was doing, they would catch a family, one of the heads of the cartel, and they would tie up the mother and the oldest son, and they would put their babies and the younger kids in a big pot of oil and cook them. And then they would do this. And then they would chop bodies up, put them in a Suburban, and drive it to your house and just leave it there. And then you go in the car and you see all your family members chopped up. So, Esau do some crazy stuff, but we inherited some of that wickedness as well.
Con. Right. So, everyone pretty much familiar with this story, but this is some heavy PTSD, heavy trauma that this family went through. Right. Yahushua went through PTSD as well. Right. Let's jump to Luke chapter 22 and 44. We're just going to keep it really straight to the point.
Luke 22 and 44?
Yeah.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 44. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground.
That's some. Go ahead, King.
And when he rose up from prayer and was come to his disciples, he found them sleeping for sorrow.
I'm over here in the corner going through agony. I'm going through some major agony. I'm so deep and heavy in prayer that I'm sweating blood. I'm literally sweating blood, and you over here sleeping.
Yeah, that's cognitive dissonance. Yeah,
that's cognitive dissonance.
There,
I'm about to go put up my life for you. And you don't even have the decency to stay up with me, as they say, watch and pray. You ain't even up to watch. You ain't even praying. You can't just stay up and like, yeah, you praying. Let me at least stay awake.
Hey, Salakia.
Go ahead, King.
That's how you know Yahushua and Jacob. Because us, man, we damn near dying and we'll keep it to ourselves.
Yeah.
We be dying. We ain't trying to go to no hospital, no nothing. We have the worst damn sickness in history, and we try to play it off. You'll never know. And nigga, we dying. Do you ask, hey, you good? Are you all right? Damn, you looking back. I'm good. I'm all right. I'm sure I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
And
nigga, you caught like 3 strokes already.
Yeah, yeah, so this is it right here, man. He's dealing with the major PTSD right now. I mean, the symptoms of his PTSD is extreme stress. I can't imagine the stress that someone would go through to be on the place where they're sweating blood. Now, we know that stress causes a lot of problems and situations, symptoms in our body, right? This is the way stress works. You'll be stressing over something, and you're going to start seeing bumps on your skin. You're going to be stressing, and people get rashes all over their body, hives, right? Because of the stress that they're dealing with. They're stressing about something, and they start getting ulcers, right? The stomach acid starts eating away at the stomach because of the stress that they're dealing with. This is some of the symptoms that people deal with when they're going through heavy stress, man. Other ailments in your body start popping up because stress. Some people go through stress and they get headaches, they get migraine, right? It's because of the stress that they're dealing with. Yahushua was going through some stress where he was sweating blood, right? This is extreme stress, anguish. That is heavy.
Talaki.
Go ahead, King.
Yeah, I hope everybody heard him. Like, stress put holes in your skin. We had a guy who was stressed out. He had circles in his head, like bald circles in his head. And like the Ox said, it can kill you. It can poison you, rashes, all that stuff is real. Now we're not saying you wake up tomorrow and you got a rash. And you're like, oh, that's stress. I mean, it could possibly be. You know, some people you say stuff, but Israel, you got to look after your health. Got to look after your health. Even if you are following these laws, statutes, and commandments, you still got to be healthy. You still got to be able to, you know, get up that flight of steps and stuff like that. So try your best to eat right and continue, because to bleed blood, that's stress and that's cognitive dissonance, and that's what we're trying to say here with this class. You know, PTSD is real, and Esau with his slickness, he's making everything cognitive dissonance with all these religions. That's what I was trying to tie into it. You stuck on two things, like, well, Christian, but this Israelite stuff, I don't know, man. I ain't believing it. It's cognitive dissonance. That's what they do, and this is why you're chasing the tail. So please, you listen to the brother Shemaiah, listen to him. That stress will kill you. There's 38-year-olds having strokes. That's crazy. I think somebody had a heart attack at like 28. Like, this doesn't make any sense. You had a girl that died of diabetes at 6. She was like 200 pounds. Something like that. I think she was 8. That girl that died during the pandemic, the black girl, I think she's from Texas or something. But again, PTSD is real and stress is real. And you have to look after yourself, get your blood work done, go to Walmart, check your blood pressure. Hypertension is real. So that's all we're saying. I yield.
Con. So this is some major anguish and major stress that Yahweh Shai is going through, man. Just read, and again, the cognizant dissonance is that you want to do something, or you know that you got to do something, but another feeling or emotion is coming on. Let's read verse 42. Go back up and read
My
verse
bad.
42.
I had to mute on. Shalaki. I'm up here talking to myself. This is the book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 42, saying, Father, if thou will, Shalaki, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done.
There you go. I have one feeling, but I know it's something else that needs to be done, right? I know I gotta give up my life. I know I gotta die. I know I gotta suffer. I know, but if it's your will, remove it. But I don't want to. Although I'm feeling this way, I don't want to push my feelings and my will over yours. I don't want to put the way I'm feeling above what your will is. That's some heavy maturity right there, man. Yeah, that's some heavy maturity right there to feel a certain way so heavy that you're bleeding blood or you're sweating blood, but you still want to go based on the will of the Most High God. This is not a small thing, man. But we all suffer and go through trauma, right, in one way or the other, right? We all deal with heavy trauma, and just the way we deal with it, as a people, we see here, where, in Tobit, in Yahushai's case, we don't just commit suicide because of stress, because of pain, because of trauma. We take it to the Most High in prayer. We don't be like, let me just go jump off this building. Let me just go swallow this bullet or take a whole bunch of pills and then lay in the tub. Now we go to prayer and we don't commit suicide, man. That's not one of the things that we normally see our people doing. right? One of the other people who were suffering cognizant dissonance and PTSD, he did that, which was a Judas,
Yeah. Good point.
right?
Yeah.
We see Samson doing it because Samson wasn't doing it like, oh, I want to end my life. Samson was like, let me end everybody's life, right? Samson was like, nah, yeah, put me on these pillars right here. You guys took my eyes. Yeah, payback. That's how Samson was doing it. So Samson wasn't like, yeah, I want this building to fall on me so I can die. No, Samson saw that, man, in this situation, you took my eyes. Nah, you ain't getting away with that. And this temple is full. I'm taking everybody with me.
Everybody.
Everybody gonna get piece of this. That's how Samson was
Yeah.
functioning in that situation. So Samson wasn't like, oh, I'm so stressed and I'm gonna take my life. That's so Samson didn't commit suicide, right? So don't let nobody tell you Samson commits suicide. Samson was taking revenge for his eyes. Khan?
Gone.
Yeah, man. But
Hey,
go ahead, King.
Salaki, I got one more. This is just a full circle. Get one more. 2 Samuel chapter 13. And this is a major part of PTSD, especially with our people. This boy, oh man. 2 Samuel 13, King. And get verse number 3.
Gone. This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 13, verse 3. But Ammon had a friend whose name was Jonadab. Or Yonadab, sorry, Salaki, was Yonadab, the son of Shami, David's brother. And Yonadab unto him, why art thou, being the king's son, lean from day to day? Will thou not tell me? And Ammon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother, Absalom's sister. And
Right.
Yonadab,
Now jump to verse 10. So he basically loved this. It was Tamar was Absalom's sister, but remember, he was also tied into David as well, too, right? He was related with Absalom. So look what happens here, man. And this happens a lot. People don't talk about it, but this happens a lot. Jump to verse 10.
the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 13, verse 10. And Amnon said unto Tamar, bring the meat into the chamber, that I may eat of thy hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made and brought them into the chamber to Ammon, her brother. And when she had brought them unto him to eat, he took hold of her and said unto her, come lie with me, my sister.
Look at that. That's a brother,
Oh, that's crazy.
right? Read on.
God. And she answered him, nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not thou this folly?
Right? Read on.
And and I, whither shall I cause my shame to go? And as for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel. Now, therefore, I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee.
Right. So she's trying to stop her brother from raping her. Read on.
Howbeit, he would not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than she, forced her and lay with her. Man,
But he raped his sister.
that's crazy.
Right? Read on.
Then Amnon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her. And Ammon said unto his sister, arise, be gone.
So after he raped his own sister,
Yeah.
he cast her to the side and told her to get up out of here. Right? Read the next verse. Sorry.
God. And she said unto him, there is no cause. This evil and sending me away is greater than the other that thou didst unto me. But he would not hearken unto her.
Right. So now what happened? He tried to kick her out. And then as you go on through the verses, she said, now I'm forced to be your wife. So imagine the trauma she's going through to where she's been forced by her own brother, right?
God.
And she had no one to help her at the moment yet. And now she's in a situation, and then he's gonna throw her out. He's gonna kick her out and say, "Get up out of here."
God.
After he just molested her, and that happens a lot,
God.
you know. Uncles, aunties, shoot, cousins, brothers and sisters. You young. They had a movie called Antoine Fisher. Remember that movie?
God.
And he got molested when he was young. So even PTSD, trauma with that as well too. And I
God.
know a lot of people that went through stuff like that. Are still trying to heal from stuff like that, you know? And it damages their mind, it damages their mentality at a young age. So this is a heavy topic, King. But I yield.
God.
Done. Hey, Shalaki, let's just get to for Judges chapter 16:28 because we're proving Samson. It was all about the revenge.
16:28.
Yeah.
God. This is the book of Judges, chapter 16, verse 28. Shalakia. Um, and Samson called unto the Lord and said, O Lord, God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my two eyes. Yeah.
So Samson wasn't like, oh, I'm in so much anguish. I want to die. Kill me, Lord. No, Samson prayed that God strengthen him so that he get revenge on these people for his eyes. Con?
God.
So this wasn't a suicide. This wasn't a, you know, Allah Akbar, boom. I guess it was.
Hey,
Right?
little.
Samson wanted to take that whole facility down, that whole building, that whole temple. So the scripture tells you Samson killed, did he kill more in his death than in his life, right?
God.
All praises, man. So this topic, yeah, this topic, it goes into so many things when it comes to PTSD, you know. Um, but yeah, man, great lesson, great class, King. You know,
Huh.
and yeah, we do suffer um, and still suffer, and you know, men in most cases a little more. I don't want to try to like compare trauma on that level, but men, I would say we hold it in more. You know, just like the brother was saying, you know, men we kind of hold it in more than women. With when it comes to our health and things like that, a woman would normally, you know, go to the doctor quicker, and a man would be like, "Yeah, just give me some Robitussin." You know, I'm a stick it out. You know, and we don't really go get treatment for a lot of things. And, you know, I'm guilty of that. Many of our men are guilty of that. A woman would see a mole and run to the doctor real quick, you know. But when it comes to the stress um, and trauma, we a lot of times hold it in. Are you, King?
God. God.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of issues and situations in the scripture that we could go through when it comes to this PTSD, man. Um, yeah, cognizant dissonance, PTSD, trauma. You know, we want to die. Was it Elijah who killed all of the prophet and he ran because Jezebel threatened him? His brother just called fire down from heaven and this female threatened him and he ran. When he could have called fire down on her too. Right. Right. So yeah, we got a whole lot of situations, man.
Yo, it's lucky. That man slaughtered millions of dudes. Officer Baal, he seen that crazy chick. He said, "This chick is crazy." I'll say it in I'll say it in, I'll say it in a PC way. He said, "This this BI is crazy. This get the hell out of here right now."
And ran to the desert, bro.
Right.
The man ran to the desert like, nah, I'm out of here.
That man moved faster than Flash, brought down fire from heaven, created a famine, stopped the rain, all with the power of the Lord. And this
God.
damn viper, witch, serpentine, devilish, familiar, Saint Tertius, Horridius, he seen her pop up. He said, "Hell no." The
Right?
hell?
There's some
Talk about
serious trauma
PTSD,
he was
boy.
going through, man.
Yeah. Oh my
But
God.
historically, listen, man, I don't know any other person they historically documented that has ever sweat blood.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When you talk about the world is on your shoulder,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's your Howard shot, man. Die for every one of our wickedness, man. Once and for all. The scapegoats have to be killed every year, but the blood of Yahweh Shai, once and for all, man. Not just for our generations, but every other generation that has passed, man, and to come. So that's some serious, serious trauma, stress. But this was again a good class. Brother could pray it out, and yeah, we can do our thing. Unless somebody else had any questions, comments. Yeah, somebody asked, I think on the YouTube, what movie? I think they were asking about the movie with the just with the cow, the bull.
Oh yeah.
The Immortals.
The name of the movie is the Immortals.
Yeah, classic movie.
Let's do the Lord's Prayer. I don't have it in the paleo.
Yeah, I could say it.
Okay, come
on. All praise. Give you at least 30 seconds. Let's close it out with the Lord's Prayer. Once again, good class, King. That's definitely
the water.
Open up a series with this one, boy.
God.
Entire series. All right, this is the Lord's Prayer in Paleo Hebrew, which is Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 on down. All praise Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Recha Kadash, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakovka, Taba'a Ratazaka, Haya Aisha Ba'arataza, Kawa Haya Bashemayim, Adalanawa, Laham, Hayawam, Wasalahnawa, Chabawafnawa, Kasalahnawa, Chabawafinawa, Wala'a Tabiyainawa, Banasayawan, Abal Hawashainawa, Mayan Rai, Kiyalaka, Hamalakwa, Faha'ala, Wataparaf, La Walamyam, Amen.
Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. We actually, how about Shemel Shah, please watch over the nation of Israel, watch over the brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth to guide us and direct us. Yeah, how about Shemel Shah to strengthen us in these last days, which is signs and miracles, and also the things we've seen that's going out throughout these last times. Yeah, how about Shemel Shah to also show us more visions and more signs and increasing us in our faith to bring death and destruction and wrath and righteous judgment unto the heathens, unto the wicked, unto Esau, and also to speed up the time for the elect's sake and bring more signs of the chariots to get us out of here and bring judgment and destruction to the rest of the nations. And to strengthen us, heal those that are sick, help those that are low in faith. Yahweh Shemel Shai. Continue to motivate us to keep pushing, to keep staying consistent, and also to guide us so we can be ready for Yahweh Shemel Shai and for the manifestation of the last days and these prophecies. Amen.
The water case.
Anytime. Anytime.
Well, thanks for everybody's participation.
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mad Dog 144.
Yeah. Good.
So, all praises, family.
All praises.
Safe.
Thanks everybody joining us for the class. Sorry, it's kind of under the weather. I think I got attacked by a drone. So hopefully I'll go ahead and get some sleep it off tonight. And call me Asharala. Love everybody. And Shalom.
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 Good job, Shalom, little brother.
Shalom, bro.
That drone ain't got nothing. I try to come at the chariot and blast it right out the skies.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
I can't see that one because I don't have
No, I just know a couple words.
Huh?
I said I can't see it because I don't have Instagram.
No, it's not Instagram, TikTok.
I meant TikTok.
So,
I don't have TikTok.
yeah, download TikTok.
Yeah. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. All right. I
I
already know.
don't like
I already
TikTok.
know. Yeah, I already know. You know more than us regular civilians, so you already know the high classified and the apps and how they really work and the tracking and all of that. So yeah, I ain't gonna bother you with that.
Yeah, you can't use it in the military. Well, people do, but you can't even use it. You gotta get permission and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'll think about it. I
I'll
do.
I'll find the you. No, it's cool. I'll find the YouTube version.
Okay, I
I'll
appreciate
send
it.
you it.
Thanks, Cap.
Yeah, I got you anytime, okay?
Um,
Because I already know y'all military. I already know y'all mentality is literally different. So certain stuff we don't see, we don't
uh,
really think about, and y'all like, nah. Y'all don't know what's the intricate levels of what's really like showing in videos, and you be like, what? No.
God. Yeah, one day I'll give a class on that stuff. The little lickies and chewies that
Okay.
the average civilian don't think about. God.
Okay. Look forward to that. So I'll send you the YouTube version, okay? Most I will, all right?
Appreciate it, Cap.
All right, that's okay. Call me Charlotte.
Come on, Shara.
All right.
Thanks, Shemai. Come on, Shara.
Call me Charlotte.
Hey, Aria, you still there?
Yeah.
Post that book, Antiochus, in the group chat, King.
I think I did. Let me see. Yeah, that book we use that every feast of dedication, boy. Boy. You just read a fourth of that book, man. You're gonna be on fire. You're gonna like this wicked neck. What? comparative text, all of that stuff. Let's see. All right, I'm putting on the group chat right now. Mm.
Okay. Shalom, family.